I got the microphone on this time. Gentlemen, gentlemen. Look, it's another 667. Okay. This is RO number 51. This is owned by my friend Mr. T. My Texas Star 667 does not make power, so I would like you to check it out if possible. I would like Anderson connectors or whatever you think is best with a longer power wire installed, total enough to reach approximately 8 to 10 feet, max needed. I'll be driving the amp with a Stryker 995 version 2. Please give me any instructions as needed to hook it up properly. If you will crimp a connector on each wire so I can attach the battery properly. Okay, so what I take from that note is we're going to turn this into a high drive, which is a little bit tricky to do with the Stryker radios. That means we'll be bypassing the driver section. This variable knob will no longer do anything, and we don't ever want to depress these two. Well, we might end up using the AM button. We'll see. It's a little scoged, a little dirty, but what I'm hearing is that what we're wanting to do here is we're wanting to upgrade power wire, then give him Anderson clips with a disconnect, and 8 to 10 feet worth of wire on top of that to go down to the battery with soldered eyelets. That's what I took away from this. The notes, that is. Let's go take a quick look on the inside. And let's see what we got going on. We got stripped hole after stripped hole here. Oh. Special modified. Okay. Alright, let's try this again since I drug it off frame and you guys were sitting there staring at the wall. I had the thing literally cropped like this. So let's try this one more time. The input drive comes in, goes through our variable, comes out, goes to our new one-pill driver section, supposedly gets amplified, comes out, goes by this capacitor, then goes through this resistor, then in turn goes to this trimmer, which then goes to the splitter. Let's see. There's one style of 10 ohmer here, another style of 10 ohmer here, unknown value capacitor here. All of this stuff is kind of important, so let's zoom in here a little bit. There has been a problem here before, as we can tell right here. A little tiny 10 ohm there, different style of 10 ohmer down there. It is a little discolored. It's not burnt, but it is discolored. Different style of 10 ohm resistor over here, but the same ones underneath here. So this is most likely, we'll find out. Electrolytics where they shouldn't be. We need to change our coax leads. This is a joke. Yeah, worked on way worse. I think what we need to do is I need to hook power up to this, and we're going to run it just real softly. Just put like 1 or 2 watts in it, and that'll help me determine how bad this is before we get too far down this rabbit hole, because this thing has got the invenerable Toshibas in it, which I still don't care are better than any HG component made today. I don't care. But the C does more. No. But did it? No. But the did it? No. Stop. Just stop while you're ahead. Believe me when I tell you, from my experience, from what I have seen, there are some pluses and some minuses to some of the Chinese components, but the Toshiba is still king. It's a shame we can't get them anymore and the cost is so high. But let's quickly stub some wires on this with some nuts. We'll hook it up over here to the bench power supply and we'll give it a gopher and we'll see what happens. Okay. So as we can see, the amp is cool. There's no heat on anything. Alright, let's go over here to the watt meters real quick. Let's start here. So, we're going to key 1 watt. So this is a 5 watt slug going forward, 1000 an average or peak or RMS or whatever you want to call it, or RMS or bird or whatever. It's 1,000 in peak. So we got 1 watt dead key. Let's see what we got here. Wow, amp doesn't even key up. Hello. 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 Wow, can't even talk through it. Hello. Hello. Well, that is weird. Hello, audio. What scale are we on? Oh, we're on 5X. No wonder it's barely moving. Okay. So amp, no key up. Carefuling, okay. Relay lid is broken. Check this out. Amp does not key. This thing slides on and off like it was never even attached. So we'll manually move it through its motions here. Hello. And let's see what got hot. Output combiner's cool. Both these flybacks are pretty hot. Just change our measuring mode here. There we go. Preamp is smoking. Our bias resistor is not doing anything. Hello. Hello. Okay, those transistors are working. Those transistors are working. These are good signs. These 4 transistors are working. That's our biggest concern. Okay, so our key in transistor is fried, or something with the transmit receive relay is not working properly. Let's see here. Oh, power knob lights up, no preamp, no AM. Oh, AM button's working and sideband delay is working, as far as the lights are concerned. Let's check our meter on the front. Hello, hello. Meter on the front is not working, nor is the light behind the meter, which means we have no 12 volt getting switched through the relay, even with manual movement. 12 volt goes through, goes over there. So it might not be the key in transistor, it might be our positive lead from here to... Okay, we now know where we're going to start. Well, let's rip all the stuff out of here that we don't want to use, and let's build it up from the ground up and see if we can make this a smoking, talking, walking beast. Hello. Okay, so this all down here was a mess. This is all shorted out. The light's was hooked up to the wrong place. The variable is hooked up to the wrong place, and this is all a giant ball of mess. So we got this all cleaned up. Here's our problem. Is I should have 12 volt here when I move this. I got nothing. I also don't have any 12 volt coming out of the relay over here. That's bad. This amp is really chewed up. If we go over here and we look at the input section and the output section, let me take 12 volt off so we don't have a fire here. Make sure I don't touch these leads together. I don't need no sparking and arcing tonight. This whole thing has been burnt. Like bad, bad, bad. So, with everything over here being shorted out, it doesn't surprise me that the light wasn't going to work. Unfortunately, for me to fix this properly, I gotta pull the whole board out, which is not a fun process, but hey, this is my job, right? I am praying that there is just the burnt trace on the bottom of this board, and that's the reason we don't have a 12 volt switch through the keying circuit. This has all been butchered. There's a lot that's been broken on this box. Yeah. Pull this wire, pull the meter off. Disconnect our combiner, pull the screws out. I guess we're going to take the board out. It's sure going to be a lot easier to work on and get cleaned up and doing everything it's supposed to be doing. So, okay, give me a minute. This amp has had a rough life. Wow. So this comes off our 12 volt switch, runs around, feeds here, comes across, goes through our preamp circuit, comes around, goes over to our relay junction. Make sense? So comes around, goes to this pin here, which is right here. I've seen this maybe 3 other times, which is very encouraging to me that it is a trace. I can fix this. The relay itself, though, that is a pain in the ass to fix. This is a simple fix. Just took about a half hour to get here, probably another hour and a half, 2 hours. I got to go in here and this keying circuit's all messed up. And I'll clean up our preamp area. I'll wash this, clean all this up in here, make this all pretty again. Repair this trace, put some capped on tape down here so we don't have this problem again. All come from bad solder work. There was a blob of solder that was hanging over here and shorting a 12 volt circuit right here. And this thing hanging off the side, this is a ground strap that somebody added. So it means at some point this resistor has been lifted and they soldered to the board and then put the resistor back down. There's a ground strap for this Quasimodo 1-pill driver section. The 1-pill driver section is a Dremel hand piece of garbage, basically, that somebody has put together with almost all the same parts that, yeah, it's sad. All right, well, enough melodramatics. Let's get to doing solder work. Oh, and stuffed underneath the board, by the way, look at what I found. The relay screw. Yep, that bad. Okay, so we got the board out, and after about, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet of solder wick, and I don't know how many pumps from my solder sucker, we've got it to look like this. Which is in way better shape than what we had going on. Went ahead and I pulled out the capacitor, pulled out the preamp, got the whole bottom side of the board repaired and figured out, knocked down some other high stuff that was going on. So now all I got to do is I got to install the keying circuit, reinstall the preamp, Have to give it a new bias resistor. This bias resistor that was in here was fried. Can't lose my grain of wheat light bulb. Here. This new bias resistor, this thing is way out of spec. That, and this isn't going to be a 1 driving 4 anymore. So how they achieve the bias status for the 1x4 driver section is they piggyback it off of this here. This is like a 1.8 ohm, and this is a 1.6 ohm on this one here. So we got to change this to 1.8, otherwise the boards won't be balanced with each other anymore. So I got to clean the inside of this thing out. We'll give this a quick El Duce, and we'll clean where the transistors go, because, well, there's little pieces of cut wire that have been hanging out on the inside of this thing. Get this all cleaned up, spoofed up, and we're going to cut ourselves some new coax to go from here to here to here to here. It's time for us to start putting this back together. Well, we're short a few parts. I got to do the input and the output coax, and I got to figure out how to get signal from here to there, which, depending on how it tunes, might be a piece of coax, or it could be a piece of wire. Excuse me. So now it's come time for us to put our Anderson clips on this amp. Now, in the notes, he said that it needed power wire long enough to go from the back of the amp down to the battery. Wire's expensive. Good wire is even more expensive. And not Amazon wire, real wire. There's probably $85, I think, or $89 worth of wire right here. There's another $7 or $8 here. And each one of these connectors costs about 12 bucks. That's without the dirt boot, and that's without the handle. The price of wire has almost doubled in price. I've still got to do the power distribution from here to here and here to here. Now we're overkilling this for a reason. This guy wants to put this up in a semi, and I don't want to see the voltage sag on these precious Toshibas, none at all. Just saying. Just saying. This is necessary from the battery to the amp. Is this necessary into the amp? No. We could get away with a small piece of 8 gauge going inside the amp as long as it's only this long. From here to the amp, you absolutely have to have this size of wire. Otherwise your current drop is like it's breathtaking, the amount of current loss that you have. So, needless to say, we're going to overkill it with kindness, but in the end, he's going to get himself a super reliable piece of equipment. All right, let me go solder some more. I'll be back. Okay. So here's what we've got. Replace the coaxes, obviously. Put this in here. And it tunes out best with a wire as an inductor instead of a piece of coax. Coax, it was not happy. And sometimes you got to compensate, you know, because what's the old adage? With enough inductor and enough capacitance, you can tune anything, right? So over here, we've got all the cable the guy requested, soldered ends, of course, actual legit right size Anderson connector and everything. New sideband delay, changed out all the capacitors for the harmonic suppressors, the flyback circuits. Left the variable in there because I wanted to see what it was going to tune like, right? It tuned out okay. First I tuned it with the attenuator in play. I'm going to remove this and send it in its own little bag. Where this actually goes, if anyone cares, is from here to here. And the idea was It was to keep the one pill section from getting overdriven. That's the whole point behind this one resistor. Well, now we're running off a 955. He said he wants to set the thing up for his 955. Okay. So amp is off. Let's show you drive levels. You guys in YouTube land. So over here we've obviously got the 1000 in PEP, 1000 and whatever you want to call it, average, RMS, bird watts, whatever, just straight through. And then a 5 watt slug in reverse. Speaking of which, I had somebody in my group come and show up the other day, and they put a copied and pasted a comment from another group where they were having a debate about yours truly. And this guy, his name starts with an M, shows up and goes, well, you know, BBI leaves all the comments off on his videos because all his watt meter readings are exaggerated and overly boastful. That's why he never shows anything in bird watts. And he leaves all the comments off. So nobody can call him out on his BS. I read that. My response was, well, one, thanks for watching. And two, I got 17,000 plus comments last year on my YouTube videos. In the beginning, before I understood how to utilize YouTube, yeah, I had the comments shut off because every time everyone would make a comment, it would send me an email to an account I had linked to my phone. So I'd be laying there 4 o'clock in the morning, bling, 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 bling. And this is back before I was working for myself. So the easiest way to keep my phone from not going off in the middle of the night, because remember I had to have my phone on all the time because I was working for another person. I was on call a lot, is I'd shut the comments off. Man, I ain't turned the comments off in probably 7 years. So one, it shows that he's out of touch, and two, he's apparently not watched a video in the last, I don't know, 10 years? 11 years? I've had this same exact meter set up, showing the reflect power back from the dummy load, an unmolested bird meter, and then peak watts. And the reason I do that is because I don't really care. My entire job is to show that the amplifier is just simply working. I don't care if you want to look at this or this. I don't care. I show them both. It makes little to no difference to me. From my point of view, I could care less. So I was like, dude, thanks for the view. And apparently this guy hasn't watched a YouTube video lately. And my God, I got like 17,000 comments last year. What is he talking about? Oh, you guys can go to war down there in the doobly-doo. You're not going to get me to entertain anything or have an argument about anything. I will respond to the comments like, hey man, where'd you get that part? Or hey, what's the link to the other video? Or that kind of thing. If you guys want to jump up and down and do the happy dance and paint each other purple hanging naked from a tree by your big toe, go at it. I don't care. I'm not going to participate. I'm too busy over here actually doing the JOB. So, all right. So, this thing was a creamed out Krispy Kreme. Looked like something left on the corner in Tijuana one time. Snaggled tooth wolf child. So, this is just straight radio drive. We're on 14.6 volts right now. 14 volts. Up here at the striker. Because I want to be transparent, 14.6 volts. Okay. So, at 012, doing about 110 watts. Our dead key power, now with a 5 watt slug reading forward, is indicated right here at 1 watt. And our average power, bird power, BS number is at 01212, about 30 bird. So putting 30 dirty bird at we're about 110 peak into the 667. And from that we get at 012, at 012. Nice, crispy, about 700, 750 watts. At roughly about 300 bird and 0 reflect back from the dummy load. So let's go look at our input tune. Once again, we're going to use the same 5 watt slug, brand new from Coaxial Dynamics, right here. Never been moved since it was put in the hole. I had a guy ask me the other day, he goes, who accuratizes your equipment? I said, well, usually the company you manufacture. Like, if I had a problem with one of my Siglent meters, I'd call up Siglent because I work with Siglent, or Coaxial Dynamics, or Bird because I work with both of those companies. The thing is it's never moved, so it just sits there. And all my elements are less than 5 years old, so they don't need to be accuratized. They're still within their operational window, right? They haven't timed out yet. Although I think that's going to change next year, so. Hello, 1, 2. About a half a watt worth of reflect going into the amplifier. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Results may vary between radio because striker bridges are absolutely not accurate and we do not use them as an actual point of measure. We just show it to you so you know what you're getting into. This length of coax right here is 18.5 feet. A nulled, non-reactive, otherwise it's not adding capacitance or any inductance to the circuit. It's nulled out, so it's got zero reactant to a piece of coax. It is what it is. And the end result is, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It came in here barely making a couple hundred watts, and it's leaving here a 700 plus watt monster. With all the big upgrades, the big power wire upgrades, strain reliefs, upgraded distribution, got good thermal compound underneath all the transistors because they ended up taking up both boards, cleaned everything, put everything back together, and now the amp can actually key itself up. Oh, yeah. And the light works. And the bias has been repaired. So now, do any of the other functions on the front of the amplifier still work? I don't know. Let's change radios. My 955 does not have a speaker on the inside of it. But my 2950 does. So, preamp is now working. It was not. The preamp is powered off the same circuit that runs that. Still have some light bulbs that I gotta fix. And I want to play with the meter a little bit because the meter's kind of lagging. It's only going about halfway through its motion. Hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2. Even with only a 30 watt, 20 watt radio, 25.5 watt, 25, 26 watt radio. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, seeing about 500 watts. The sideband delay, it's that switch. Sideband delay is now working. We're good. This thing is working perfect now. Short of, I think, this indicator lamp being bad. That one's working. Let's see what's working, what's not. The preamp is not working. And the meter on the front, as you guys can see. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Lagging a little low. So I'm going to go play with the meter on the front. And I'm going to replace this light bulb. So where I was going with the story was that, one, I'm too old, I'm too tough, and I'm too dumb to care about people that want to sit around and talk about me. No time for it. All I got time for is my family and to focus on what I'm working on. I appreciate this guy making this comment because the more people talk about you, the more advertisement you're going to get. More people come and watch the YouTube videos and they find out how wrong this guy really was. That has been the mantra of this over here since the beginning. One, I don't say anything negative about anybody. It's not my job. My job is simply just to fix the box. I don't talk crap about builders. I don't talk crap about people. I just want to work on amps. Two, I don't talk religion or politics or race. They're all wasted time, wasted topics, wasted effort. Once again, my number one job is to just fix the amplifier. So I appreciate this guy and his point of view. It made me chuckle, and I moved on with my night. I just thought you guys would think it was funny too. So please, understand, I hold no ill will towards this guy. I just think he's funny. And when somebody so fervently wants to be right, no matter what you say, you're going to be wrong. So what's the point of debating them? I have no time for it. Well, gentlemen, I want to say thank you for tuning in and following along on the saga of this repair. The tin is a little beat up on this thing, and the faceplate's a little beat up. Unfortunately, right now, there isn't a source for the lids, and there isn't a reliable source for the faceplates. I've got a couple people working on these things, like my friend, Stacy Beard, over at Beard Amplifiers. He's a tool maker. Well, he's decided to create the dies, and he's going to try and make a run of cabinet lids. I'm probably going to buy every one that he makes. And he's probably going to make a bunch of them, because there's a lot of guys out there like this guy here, Mr. T, the guy that owns this amp. He needs a new tin. This thing is in pretty rough shape. It's got a lot of holes in it and stuff. I went and I took the time and I cleaned out the heatsink, washed it, scrubbed it, went through and cleaned it all up the best I could, cleaned the cabinet up the best I could. But I'd like to live in a world where I had a new faceplate sitting on the shelf that I could put on here in a new tin for like 30 bucks. Like, here you go, your amp looks like new, have fun, go play radio. I know that day is coming. I'm working on it. Unfortunately, it's just not something that I can offer today. So, gentlemen, on that note, I'm going to walk. This thing is done. It's taken me a lot more time than I thought it would. I was supposed to have this done last Friday. Got busy with my family. I've been busy with my family every day since this whole nightmare for me started. We're getting closer to getting the final decisions that needed to be made. We've got a date, we got a service time, all of those things. I want to say thank you to my Patreon supporters, these guys down here. They're very used to having a steady diet of me being able to dump amplifier porn into their lives. And I haven't been doing a very good job of that lately because, well, my family comes first. So it's going to change, and the pace is going to start to pick up. Today is Tuesday, and finally got one box done. I'm going to probably dedicate the rest of this week to getting the interview video with my friend at Fatboy, Tony, shot. I think you guys are going to find it very interesting. He spends quite a great deal of time talking about his 320 amp or 320 transistor amplifier that him and his son put together, and they competed with it and they won a lot of stuff, and it's very, very impressive, and I cannot wait for you guys to see this history. So I'm going to say on that note, gentlemen, I appreciate every single one of you that follow along. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment on the video. It helps with the algorithm. I thank you. I thank my Patreon supporters. I give thanks for my family, and I appreciate every single one of you. On that note, I am going to go do other stuff, like sit in front of my computer and edit.